Guys, welcome back. So today I'm actually trying to get rid of all of the poison ivy that I can off of the fence line. It is growing over and through the fence, so I'm taking some of these, I guess, hedge trimmers. They're not like the kind that you would like shape up a bush or anything. They're more like for branches, kind of pruning type work. And so my husband and I were just going through nice and easy. We wore pants, probably should have wore sleeves, and we just snipped away as much as we possibly could to get as much of this poison ivy off of the fence. Our neighbors on the other side of this fence, they do not do any type of cleanup on that back fence line area, mostly because they're older and they just aren't able to get this done on their own. So we're going to try and trim this up as much as possible and clear out everything, get some more sunlight, because it is growing so far over that it was almost hanging down to the ground. We're trying to be very careful not to get this on us, and you can guess whether or not we got a rash from any of this, and we'll let you know if you were correct or not. We'll see in a few days if we get a rash or not. Usually when you get poison ivy on you, you may feel like a tingling sensation, or you might not feel anything for a few days. So it may take 2 to 3 days before you actually start getting a rash from this. There's not much you can do for it other than obviously wearing the proper PPE or personal protective equipment, which would be like this, would be long sleeves and pants. But the gloves did fairly well. I wasn't touching it with my hands, so that helped out a lot. And then just trying not to get any of the branches all over our arms. This didn't take super long. I think the longest part was trying to get it actually off the fence, because poison ivy isn't just like a tree or a bush, it's a vine, and it can also grow underneath the ground. So the vine could be one side of the yard, and then it can grow all the way to the other side of the yard. I have poison ivy growing on our steps, which is nowhere near any of the other poison ivy. It's just one strand of ivy that's just growing in the middle of nowhere on our concrete patio area, and just that little crack that's there, poison ivy has been able to grow through it. So we have a lot of poison ivy in our area, especially on this side of the neighborhood. So we're just trying to clear everything out. My sunflowers are a little tattered just because they're trying to reach the sun. They didn't have a lot of airflow, and this has been after several days of rain, which we ended up getting more rain and more rain and more rain after this. So it's already been a few days, and they are being tattered with the rain, and they are just not standing up as well as the other sunflowers that you might be able to see off to the left. You might be able to see that when we move the trash cans and stuff out the way. After we tackle this, we're going to get as much as we possibly can off the plants and things like that as well. So I'm just going to do a little bit of cleanup, grabbing everything. I do have to mention though, that this trimmer that we were using, boy, that thing, it does a really good job snipping, and I'm pretty sure that being the heavy size that it is probably helped, but it is heavy and my arms are so sore after this. But here I am attacking aggressively, trying to get as much as I possibly can. And like I said, it is seriously growing through this fence, like really, really bad. And it lines our entire property. As you can see, we have a lot of trees, brush, foliage, and everything else. And that was me. I had one of the leaves, the poison ivy leaves, touched my arm. So I bet you can guess what happens shortly after this. So after I go ahead and clear as much as I can, and we take turns trying to get as much poison ivy off as possible, we're going to dispose of this and just put this in our trash, trying to get it out of the way. And then we're going to go ahead and come through with our lawnmower and weed whacker and clear out as much of the other stuff as we possibly can. Don't worry about the ivy going in the trash cans, because the crewmen that come and my husband, he already got poison ivy, it looks like, on his arm, and he's worried about it. He's not much of the lawn type person. I do most of the lawn work because he's more of the tech guy, so I do most of the yard work instead. And in case, like I was mentioning, the people who come and get our dumpsters, they do not do this by hand. They pick it up with a dumpster truck and I guess a claw type machine, and they never actually really touch our trash. On the lid, it actually tells us that we can put debris and all of that kind of stuff in there, regardless of what it is. And we just can't put other types of debris in there, like obviously paint cans and things like that. So it is okay for us in our area to place that directly into the trash can. However, always follow your city's laws and regulations on what you can put in your trash can, because that may not be allowed in other places. I know some people have an actual place where they take their green waste, but fortunately we can put ours in our trash can. My arms are going to be so sore after this, and it's already been a day and a half since we did this, and I am still really, really sore. We're not going to be able to get all of this off, but we're going to get as much as possible so that I may not have to do this again later this year. And then once winter comes, a lot of this will die back, and once the foliage comes off, I'm going to try and get as much as I can at that point off. But I just need to get it at a more manageable level, since the season is just really starting to pick back up. So while he's doing the lawn and cutting it, I'm going to go ahead and come through and safely and slowly try and get all of the debris out. We do have a lot of bunnies in our area, which I don't mind that they're there, but I just want to make sure that I don't injure anybody and while trying to clear up all of this debris. The more debris and the more places they can hide, I have to be very careful, because they sometimes are so scared they won't move, and I don't want to hurt them by not seeing them and then hitting them with the weed whacker or any of our other appliances that we use back here. So just taking my time to make sure that they're no longer hiding out in the brush, and getting all of this cut down as good as I possibly can so that it'll last for the remainder of the season, and maybe I only have to do it one more time after this. Like I mentioned before, when you do handle a poison ivy, you definitely don't want to get it on your face or anything like that, so just be careful. I always wear eye protection, and I probably, like I said, should have wear long sleeves, but it was hot and I don't usually have much of a reaction to poison ivy or any of that, since I've been around this a lot over the years, so my body just doesn't really react that bad. But I can just wash it off, wash my clothes really well. You can try and put it in a separate, wash load instead of putting it with anybody else's clothes that, like your kids or something. You may want to keep it separated, but I typically don't, and I don't have an issue with it. And there's a little baby bunny in the brush. So cute. Well, just put some calamine lotion or some sort of ivy treatment and you should be good to go. But look how cute he is. They're so cute. Hello, little one. At the end of this, I did put on some calamine lotion just to be on the safe side. And that is what it looks like after we cleared out all of that area, just to get it nice and clean. And the back side as well, which I still have to weed in between all the plants. But it looks good for now. Bye guys. See you in the next one.